Hi guys, Raynal here. This week on War of the Visions, we are getting a rerun of the summer units. For a lot of players, this is going to be a break week where we enjoy the time to just save some viz, which is pretty fun. And there is a very packed schedule coming ahead of us, so we will need any viz we can save. But today we'll take a look at these units, their current place in the meta, and whether one of them could be a good investment for players or not. Now, let me begin by saying if you want to go for any of them, please take a look at, you know, the Final Fantasy VI units, the Persona units, the Crystal Warriors that are coming up. Make sure that you have enough viz for what you want out of these before investing in any summer unit. None of these summer units are must pulls, and they will not redefine your account or give you major competitive options. They are good units for the most part, they have great TMRs, but none of them is necessary, I believe, for players. Now, with that said, let's begin with the one who I feel brings the most value, and it's Summer Kilphe. I personally pulled her, and I've used her quite a bit, and she is very good. First of all, her TMR I use all the time. If you had one unit to get just for the TMR, I think this is the one to aim for. The stats on it are really good. You get a bunch of HP, Spirit, and Agility. I always love seeing Agility on a piece of gear. And then the ability you can use twice, and it gives you 20 AP plus 10 from the TP cost, so basically 30 AP, and then Shell for 3 turns. You can equip this on not everyone, but a large amount of units because it is an accessory. So yeah, I found myself using this a lot just because it has a right combination of stats and a good ability to generate AP while increasing survivability. Kilphe herself is a great attacker. That's what I'll say. She is a lot more squishy than I initially thought. She can be built to evade somewhat, but she's not nearly as evady as somebody like Starlet Elena, and she doesn't have the insurance policy of a courage or a re-raise, so when she gets hit, she goes down, which makes her a lot less reliable. In terms of damage though, I have had very good success with Kilphe when I time her agility so that she plays right after Starlet Elena, because Elena loves to build a 3 or 4 hit chain, and then Kilphe hits on top of that. Kilphe hits harder than Starlet Elena. She has self-sacrifice, she has defense penetration, and just very high amounts of damage altogether. So if you can make her hit after a chain, she is going to deal enough damage to take down even most tanks, which is quite impressive. She also has a light imperil on her limit break, which can be good to set up your raids or a bunch of other stuff. So she is a fantastic attacker, but she really lacks survivability, which makes gives her a little bit of an issue when you're running her in competitive play. And then in guild battle and whatnot, most people prefer running Jaden over her, who's a lot safer. He doesn't have much more survivability, but he's shooting from the back instead of rushing to the front of the enemy team, which makes him a lot more reliable in most battles. I also think we will be very shortly getting the Final Fantasy VI collaboration, which includes the handout unit Luck that everybody will be getting for free. Now, you will have to build him, but still, Luck will have way better evasion than Kilphe. He will have a re-raise, so better survivability as well. His damage won't be as high, but he does hit pretty damn hard, and he's got a lot of utility on his attacks. Kilphe has some, and she's got some supportive sides as well, increasing everybody's accuracy. But overall, I feel like Luck will be a better unit that you can get for no viz at all in terms of pulling. So yeah, Kilphe might be good, she will be fun, but she's definitely not needed. The second unit on the list is Summer Elsirelle, who I also own and I've used a lot. Summer Elsie is super fun if you're fighting physical attackers. It's very easy to get her to over 50 defense with a physical barrier on top, and she hits like a truck when she gets to attack. She's also a great water enabler, giving everybody water attack up in an AoE and single target resistance, so she's got a lot of tools to work with. She also has one very big weakness, which is the fact that she dies to magical scaling attacks very easily. A Starlet Elena in her face or a Jaden shooting her just takes her out of the board immediately. And that really holds back her ability to be used in competitive play. I think once Water gets a good tank like Celeste, there could be a very good combination with Summer Elsirelle, Alstoria, and Celeste in the future. But right now, making her work is very difficult because the second one of those guys targets her, she just goes down. If you would find a team that's purely physical though, Elsie is a monster. And then her TMR has some applications. It is one of those rare pieces of gear that have an ability that heals, and it's an accessory you can put on units that otherwise don't have any healing. So for example, you could put that on your Energist, on Garvel, I don't know why. Garvel has Red Mage, so I guess on Valentine Solier, and have her heal people now. So in some scenarios, in some PvE missions perhaps, it could give you access to some more healing options, which could be fun, but I haven't seen a lot of use out of it. Then the stats are good, some defense and magic, but you can equip Black Rose Helena's TMR instead, which will give you more agility and you still get the same amount of magic. So I haven't seen much use for it, but in theory, there will be some uses for it eventually. Overall though, considering how much she struggles against units that I think will remain in the meta for quite a while, I don't think she is a great pick to define your account. She's more of a unit you'll be happy to play with and has a different playstyle to a lot of other units, but this is it. Next up, we have Summer Kitone, and I haven't seen a lot of people play Summer Kitone, but whenever I fight her, I am very surprised by what she does to my team. In manual, she's crazy, and the main reason is her limit break. She has a movement of 4 and an ability that has a range of 4 in a cross-shape pattern and puts everybody to sleep with a 67% base chance, which is very high. So if you quicken her or send her into the enemy team one way or another, she has a ninja sub-job, she can poison mist across the map, very easily cross to the enemy team, and just put everybody to sleep, and then you're done. You just basically win the fight. So this is really good. In auto fights, I've also seen her work very well when she can catch more than one people with her limit break. So if she catches the tank and one enemy damage dealer with that, just puts them both to sleep, they're sure to be hit by the next hit. And when you're asleep, not only do you not act until you're awoken, the next hit you take also deals 50% more damage. So it's very easy to have her drop her LB and then just kill everybody that was hit by it. So I've seen it work, but she only gets one cast of that, and outside of this ability, she is a little bit lacking, I find. So she'll be good, say, in fight 1 of a guild battle, for example, but then not much use if she doesn't do much in fight 2 compared to some other units that can actually fight 2 fights very well. Still though, a very solid unit with a surprisingly good ability to support people by increasing their slash resistance, some reliable 100% hit attacks. She just struggles from a short range, generally. Her manual, if you're playing, her TMR, if you're playing manually, has some very good use. It's a piece of gear that gives you accuracy and spirit, which are great stats overall, but mostly you're getting an AoE buff that increases missile resistance and nullifies silence, charm, and immobilize for 3 turns. So an AoE charm resistance buff that also allows you to close in on missile users. For manual, this will always be a relevant piece of gear, and I kind of wish I pulled for her just for that. But I don't own her myself, so I haven't been able to test it too much. I've just seen people use it to great effect. The final unit on my list is one I own and sadly haven't found a way to use very well, and it's Summer Lilyth. Her damage mostly is very underwhelming. In theory, she's a fantastic unit. You have a ranger that has the paladin sub-job, can put on barriers and just get very, very tanky, or can go the dual gunner job, increase her defense further. She can easily walk into a fight with more than 50 defense and just start attacking people. She has reflex on top, she can dodge hits and keep attacking. So why does she not work? She just doesn't hurt hard. Her damage is lacking generally. Earth doesn't really have the vision cards to make a ranged attacker work that well. So I've had a lot of trouble getting good effect out of her. She has a guaranteed hit on her barrage, that's very cool, but it doesn't matter if it takes 3 barrages to take down an enemy. So I've seen her struggle quite a bit. Now, mine is only 115, maybe 120 would be a big change for her, but so far that's what I've experienced. I do find though that she could round out missile teams pretty well because she has a limit break that decreases missile resistance and immobilizes enemies, so you can make sure they stay away and everybody on your team hits them harder if you're all missile attackers. Unfortunately though, that is one cast and it's single target. Outside of that, she has shorter range than most other missile attackers, so she will be in front. If you're fighting a team of physical attackers, she has such a high amount of survivability with her high defense that she can take a couple hits for your other guys, maybe get a reflex in, dodge a hit, and then she could work very well. But just like Summer Elsirelle, she dies to magical attacks very quickly, and so against the current meta, it's really bad. She is not going to win a duel against Jaden or against Starlet Elena, and so that really holds her back in a lot of matchups. Her TMR, though, is very unique. It is the single one piece of gear in the game that gives you a buff that increases your range by 2. So the way you can get the highest range in the game absolutely requires that TMR. Nothing else right now can give you that. So that is pretty cool. It only lasts for 1 turn, but you have 2 casts of it. So technically you could have a gunner be in the back, use this, and then hit people from very far away, either early in a battle or if it's manual, you can just use that to poke a couple times and force the enemy to advance. So it is very unique. I'm glad I own her for the TMR. Sadly though, not much use for the unit as far as I've been able to make her work. And then what if you own those units and you've already maxed them, for example? You'll be getting some Mind Spheres from the event, 40 by unit, and you're not going to have much to do with it. Except JP has voted for the next swimsuit unit, so I guess they'll be getting it next summer, and we might be getting it at the same time, who knows? And that's going to be a younger version of Helena, so that's going to be pretty fun. So far, when there's reruns of seasonal stuff or a second batch of seasonal stuff, they've always been on the same Mind Spheres. So I would expect Swimsuit Helena to also have summer Mind Spheres. And so any Mind Sphere you get in the meantime, or if you want to farm your units in the barracks already because you know you'll be pulling for summer Helena, well, that's an option. Just keep that in mind. She will eventually be coming to Global as well, I'm pretty sure. But this is it. Just wanted to talk about these units a little bit, give you an insight on how or whether you guys should invest in them. If you're short on Viz, don't. Just, there will be better stuff in the future. There's always better stuff in the future. None of these units are meta defining, but a lot of them I still use. So, you know, they're not worthless either. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day, guys.